So we're on to T is for thrust and tango. And what we've done is I've used images of one of the first aero engines, successful aero engines, and shown how the sizes of the units have developed and the power that they've developed. Now I've made some small changes in that. I'll show you how that's turned out. Here's the twin cylinder engine used by Anzani engine used by Blériot. I just put that down on the thing, but when I'd had a look, it was actually a triple cylinder Anzani engine with a really twisted set of exhaust pipes. I think to probably get the exhaust lengths the same for performance. Anzani was a producer of motorcycle engines. Just if I tip this up so I can show you, there's a bit of closed peg used. And here's the propeller that's going on it, which as you can see is made out of acetate, and that will go on top of the crankcase like that. The next one down is a radial engine, which I'm working on now. Let me show you that. So that's a triple cylinder Anzani. Gnome rotary, where the actual propeller swirls with the cylinders. So the centre crankcase is bolted fixed to the plane, and the cylinders and the propellers turn together. Once again, you might notice, let's have a look. If I lift this thing up, I'm just still sticking the cylinders on the back. There's a big chunk of closed peg. The cylinders are moulded out of silicon kit. I'll pull one out in a second. I've got a couple over here. I'm just going to look like that. So the next one down is a Mercedes engine from the First World War German fighters. This was a wonderful motor. There's a lot of political intrigue about it. Manufacturers fought to get this engine. It produced 160 horsepower reliably. It made the planes go very fast, very smooth with an inline engine. The Merlin V12, a V arrangement means it's like this. The cylinders are inclined, but you only see one bank here. And what you see on the back, let's have a look. This is the crankcase. This on the back here is a two-stage supercharger, which allows it to develop power, more power in the thin air. It increases the amount of oxygen that goes into the mixture where the air is thinner and increases the power output. I like this one too because it's made out of polystyrene cups. See the foam? This foam here, is made out of polystyrene cups. It's very fine foam. You can see sort of toothpaste squish here. This is the intake for the supercharger. Chunks of balsa wood and plastic card. Bits of wire and balsa wood. And even a piece of pine here because I had to carve the crankcase and make it nice and smooth. Now if we turn that over, see the flat pieces of card that's been constructed out of the pieces of wire. With these engines, more than anything, I've used just about anything I could get my hands on. I've moulded the exhaust pipes so that they're, see these? Moulded them so they're hollow. Nice. This is plastic strapping off a piece of computer packaging. Maybe I can find the original. Let's just stop for a moment. It's a Merlin, Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Isn't it funny thinking of a Rolls-Royce engine in an aircraft? Of course, the Rolls-Royce company was heavily involved with aircraft from the very beginning. Here's that strapping I was telling you about. See how that's there? This is just like crimped strapping on the edge of a piece of plastic packaging. It's to stick the two surfaces together, but it made a good bolt pattern for the crankcase, or for the front of the crankcase. Now the difference was to the next motor, what I've done is I'm using aluminium spray paint now, and this is so different. So what I'm doing is I'm using, once again, this is a jet engine, a high bypass turbo fan. But the things that you'll notice is, first of all, it's made out of a polystyrene cup. The white stuff that you see in there is polystyrene from a cup that's very fine. Balsa wood discs, a thick one, a lot of thin ones. Whole back bit's balsa wood. Pieces of see-through plastic packaging have made the bulkhead things and flanges. And wire, twisted wire has made the bits. Doesn't that look terrific? So that becomes our jet engine, sprayed with aluminium spray paint, and then slight tints and tones added to it. I really like that one, it's one of my favourites. It's so metallic, you wouldn't think it wasn't metal, but it's aluminium spray paint, very successful. Once again, let's look at the front of it. A couple of things. This is polystyrene from a cup, wire. These are wall plugs for mounting screws into the wall, and this is a pop rivet that you'd use to attach two pieces of metal together. I haven't done much with them. These are pieces of sprue, that's stretched plastic rod that comes from plastic models, just laid according to the directions, or according to some photographic reference I had. Here's the front. See how the balsa wood bulkheads work? There's plastic filler, see-through plastic to give me that bulkhead look. And these screws were simply painted on up the front here. And all in all, the impression's very, very much like a high bypass turbofan engine. Lovely. I film it from the bottom, it looks bigger. So there you go. These are different engines, as we saw. There's the jet engine. You can see the pieces of string I've got here. See the string? And it's lined up on a piece of tape. That's just so I could line things up properly. So here's the jet engine. Still got to make a twin cylinder radial. Here's the Merlin engine, V12. See the exhausts. Mercedes engine. Gnome rotary. That's the one the whole engine spins around with the propeller there. There's the Anzani 3-cylinder that came from the Blériot. So what you get is a difference in scale between the size of engines. It's not that much increase because the amount of horsepower that's increased is astounding. But yeah, good little things. You can see them up there. Each of them has taken a great deal of work. Okay, stop there. So that's T is for thrust. I really like some of them actually. It's made up out of so many pieces of junk. Like I said, clothes pegs, a styrofoam coffee cup, matchsticks, computer packaging, fuse wire, the jet engine's great actually.